Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Wonderful T. Perkins, and I'm talking about today's topic is why I became spiritual. So the reason why I became spiritual is because I had to think about it as a different gesture for myself and my spiritual awakening process for myself, which we all will go through. I am not discrediting anybody's religious practice or anybody's cultural beliefs. I'm just sharing my reasonings of why I became spiritual. So, the reason why I became a spiritual woman is because growing up, I grew up in a Christian family, and in a Christian home, they view it as God created Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. So they kept branching out that as that's my scenario for me because I have a male genitalia and I was born as a female. So they kept trying to say that's my scenario, and that's not the truth of my scenario because they were uneducated to actually know everything about being born intersex and being born in the middle of the sexes. Um, it's not a gender crisis. It's not an identity crisis. It's not anything in that matter. It's how God created me. God created me like this. I was born like this in the womb, meaning all the scenarios of reasons why I am who I am today is because of the development that was going on into the womb when, there were procreation of creating me. And this is the result of what happened into the womb because of, it could be like a different scenario of medications that intertwine with making me have a male genitalia and being born female. It can also be certain, just anything because it's a birth defect. That's what it is. It's a birth defect caused upon your genitalia. It's not an identity crisis that someone's going through an identity crisis or someone is going mentally insane and they don't know their gender because that's not the truth. That's not any truth onto that subject. So, so that made me think about everything differently about being like in a Christianity family, and I had to branch out into my own spiritual awakening, and I became spiritual and I started my own spiritual journey, and I've been growing in my own spiritual journey now for about 10 years going on. What can I say of the awakening of being spiritual? I had to acknowledge that life has so much to offer me, and I can't judge myself depending on what the Bible tells me to say about myself because that's not necessarily true. Like I told you guys, they used to shave my hair short to make my hair look like this. Just picture me with short hair. And this is how they grew me up as, and they raised me. But everybody, and I was bullied a lot, due because I look like a female. And they were kind of saying that I was male at home, but biologically I was a female. And everybody at school already noticed that, and everybody kept telling me, like, no, you look like a lady, and you look like a girl, and everything else. But, in the Christian family, they view it as, well, I think it matters what's between your legs, and that's your gender. Or someone told them that as the belief system for them to inquire for themselves, probably to make them feel a little bit better about subjects, but that person was very uneducated, and the person didn't have enough knowledge of experience to actually talk about those types of scenarios and really educate people on those types of topics. So I had to grow out of the Christianity household and became a spiritual outlook for my own spiritual path and a spiritual awakening. So that's the reason why I started my own spiritual journey. And my own spiritual journey, led me to beautiful things. It led me to working really hard to open my own business. Like I told you guys, I'm a content partnership owner in the adult entertainment industry. I'm also working as a small business owner, doing like contract work here and there for different like freelance work. I'm also a contractor. Despite the pandemic, this is the type of stuff that I do to earn money for myself. I also take part in my spiritual awakening, and I practice, I practice my witchcraft, and I practice my studies and practicing my journey and my advancement and becoming the best spiritual woman that I could be for myself, basically. Um, so that's pretty much the reasons why I became spiritual. I had to understand that I'm not going to define myself by somebody's biblical standpoint, because in Bible, I'm not here to judge anybody's point of views, but there's always a two standpoint of equation into what the reasonings behind why people change and why people grow and why people become who they are and meant to become. It's just the way life is. It's not something that people should debate about, telling me that I'm on the wrong journey or telling me anything negative, because I'm doing what's best for me. That took care of me for my 23 years of growth and will take care of me of my 23 years plus more growth. And this is my journey, and this is what I take part in. I am very spiritual. I take part in all my spiritual attributes. I know that there's only one God. I know that there's one God that's structured, and there's only one God that's just as loving and just as evil, and that's just what the creation of God will be. I understand that's my own take on it, and it's not everybody else's take. They believe the God is all loving, but I also, in my own spiritual believe that there's only one creator, there's only one God, and he's just as powerful as niceness, is just as powerful as evilness. And that's my take into my spiritual awakening. So what type of things do I do with my spiritual awakening? Because I practice witchcraft, I do client consultations, and I help my clients find resources by creating the spells that they need to be able to branch out in their own spiritual growth journey and help them become the spiritual life that they need to take part in for their own self. Because it's all around self. It's not around anybody else's belief. It's all around self. That's the reason why I did the practice and why I go in forth in my spiritual practice to practice witchcraft. Because it's my spiritual birthright and it's my spiritual journey, and it helps change somebody else's circumstances and help grow